Hello. I want to thank all of the journalists and community members that have gathered here today. My name is Aaron Carter. I'm an educator and a Day One movement organizer from the West Coast of the United States. And I want to welcome everyone to the Hisapa, to the sacred Black Hills, to Camp Mini Luzahan, and to this moment. We are here on this sovereign land in this historic moment, just days away from the 250th anniversary of the United States. We have come here today as friends, as family, as community members to challenge the whitewashing of American history. Today, you're going to hear from organizers across the country and around the world, here to launch the Day One movement. At the heart of this movement are Black and Indigenous communities. We have gathered these communities today to think and to fight for the future. We want this 250th anniversary of the United States to represent a turning point in our history. We want this 250th anniversary to represent Day One. July 5th, 2026 represents a new beginning. July 5th, 2026 represents a new opportunity to build a country that works for all of us. What we know is that the only way that we can move forward is to acknowledge the past. And the truth is that America is stolen land. And the truth is that America was built with stolen hands. So today, we're going to introduce you to organizers from across the United States and from around the world. And they're going to tell you about their perspective, and they're going to tell you about what we are building here today. After which, we'll take a few questions, and then we'll wrap. First, I'd like to introduce you to Nick Tilson, community organizer here in the Hisapa. Nick?
Hamadakyapi, Nick Tilson and Matyapi, Chantea Washtena Petchuzapalo. Today I come here as a father, as a husband, as a community organizer here on my homelands. I'm not here talking on behalf of Indian Collective. I'm here talking as an individual because this Day One movement is a movement that is not made up of organizations. It's made up of grassroots people across this country and across this nation. In order for us to build a path forward, we have to acknowledge the past. And our Indigenous relatives, our Black brothers and sisters, we experienced huge amounts of suffering. And we have to acknowledge that. We cannot continue to perpetuate anti-Blackness. We cannot continue to perpetuate Indigenous erasure if we're going to build a path forward. So we're here to build something new. So as we resist the rise of authoritarianism and fascism in the United States and around the world, we're also here out of love to radically envision a nation that would work for everybody. A nation that will continue to have a vision of the return of stolen lands back into Indigenous hands. A vision that continues to build justice in communities and allow Black reparations to be a norm in our nation. It's with those foundations which we'll be able to create a path forward. This is a movement that is about sovereignty and self-determination, where people all across this nation will have the ability to stand in sovereignty and self-determination and not be forced violence perpetuated in our communities. And we have the ability to create this vision. So this is an invitation for all people across this nation to step into this. We can resist the rise of authoritarianism and fascism and build a movement and a country and a nation that is founded in love, justice, self-determination, and democracy. Midakoyase, we are all related.
Thank you so much, Nick. Next up, I'd like to introduce Faye, a DC-based community organizer and direct action practitioner. Faye?
Hello, you all. My name is Faye. I am a Day One organizer. I am a DC transplant. I'm an active community member. I'm a friend. I'm an advocate. I'm a caretaker. I'm an educator. And I am here today on behalf of Day One to say not another 250. The past 250 years of genocide, of enslavement, of empire and lies is up. Your time has come to an end. We know that LANDBACK and reparations are two parts of the same whole, repair. And reparations is not a folly. It is not a figment of our imaginations. It is real. It is tangible. It is something we have seen people receive. America is stolen lands, built by stolen hands, stolen bodies, stolen livelihoods, stolen wealth. There would be no 250 without Black labor. There would be no U.S. American economy without Black labor and the slave economy. And because we know this, because we stand in solidarity, not just with our people, but with our indigenous comrades, we know that we can now decide for ourselves that this country is going to be something radically different. Not another 250. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Faye. Next up, I'd like to introduce Brenda Perez, an immigrant labor rights activist from Nashville, Tennessee. Brenda?
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. My name is Brenda Perez. I am an immigrant from northern Mexico, and for the last 25 years of my existence in these United States, I have lived as an undocumented immigrant. I'm a DACA holder, so my life is constantly a policy held by those in power. I am also the proud daughter of a domestic worker who raised me and my brother on the wages of cleaning toilets of the rich and powerful, of those in the borderlands. And I am here speaking on behalf and as part of the Day One movement. Because on this cusp of 250 years, we know that the system has not worked for us. We know that there has been a division, perpetuated a false narrative between poor folks, between working class folks, between indigenous folks, Black folks, and immigrants. And we know that our struggles are one, but we know that those in power continuously work towards pushing us apart. So we are here to say that we are going to organize, we are going to heal, we're going to coordinate, and we're going to build a better future together. I wanted to share that it's the same borders that separated my family. It is the same military that recruited my brother at the age of 17. And it's the same policies that incarcerate people for profit, that profit only the rich. And we all know that. We know it is those who want to maintain power over us, fear us coming together like this. So we are here, and I am here because we know that we have a future that is out there that we haven't lived, but we know is possible. Just like we are standing here on sovereign land when they told us it wasn't possible, here we are. So we know that future is possible and we will get there. A future we haven't experienced, but we know that exists, where rural hospitals are being built, where healthcare is not a luxury, where teachers are fully funded, where workers are dignified and get to come back home, where reparations and land back happens. The majority of the people in the United States are with us and across the world are with us. But we know that our current political climate doesn't work for us, and we will build something better. We will organize, and we will build this future we deserve.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Finally, we have JC, an urban climate justice activist and community organizer out of Oakland. JC?
Yate, buenos dias. Good day to all. I'm going to go ahead and put this down a little bit in case folks need to read lips. My name is Jay-Z Bowles, and I'm a longtime resident of Oakland, California. I stand here before you, a child of Native, of Mexican, and of settler parents. That is my lineage, and I'm here to honor my ancestors. I stand here before you, a confluence of many cultures, amidst a beautiful confluence of many cultures, and I'm proud to be here amongst you all. I want to first thank the Lakota and Dakota people for inviting me as a guest on your lands. And I'm here today not only because I am deeply concerned, but because, to be real with y'all, I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken that our communities have been neglected at best and intentionally brutalized at worst by yet another administration. It is an honor to stand with these powerful and loving people by my sides, and that heartbreak is only superseded by the hope that I have in being with y'all and building with y'all. You give me the hope that the next 250 years will bring care and dignity to all of our relatives. And with that, I have the honor of presenting the Day One Bill of Essential Rights, which can be found at day1mvmt.org. The Bill of Essential Rights. For generations, we have lived by the U.S. Bill of Rights, a document that provides some foundation of essential rights and freedoms for all people, but contains serious flaws and intentional gaps. It allows for vastly unequal interpretation and application of these rights depending on the whims, biases, and greed of those in power. We have 2.5 centuries of evidence proving that we need a new framework that gives all humans and Mother Earth the rights and dignity that we deserve. So on day one, on July 5th, 2026, the beginning of a new future, we present the following Bill of Essential Rights that should be referred to as the principles for building a new world where we are all free. The first, a right to land back. The second, right to reparations. The third, the right to self-determination and sovereignty. 4, the right to consent. 5, the right to basic needs. 6, the right to religion and culture. 7, the right to dignity and bodily autonomy. 8, the right to safety. 9, the right to move freely and belong. And 10, the right to regenerative food systems and a protected planet. Oh, yeah.
With that, I want to thank all of our speakers for speaking today, and I want to open it to the media for a few questions. Absolutely. I think I'll maybe answer that and then open it up to some of our speakers to talk about. But I think at the core of this is what we talked about. It's communities. These are families. These are our friends. These are our neighbors. It's important for us to remember that. That's what this is. This is our community. These are people that we love, that we care with, people that maybe we don't even know their name, but we see every day and we smile and say, happy morning, have a good evening. That's what this is. It's not organizations, it's not structures, it's people. It's people's hearts. It's people's kids. So I think there's nothing more important than that. And that's what we represent here today with the Day One movement. And with that, I'll open it up for any community members that maybe want to say something.
Yeah, I'll speak to that. I think one of the fundamental reasons why it's so important for us to have a diversity up here is because this is actually what this country looks like. This is actually what this nation looks like. We have become the majority. No matter what this country has done to try to erase us from the history books and erase us from what's happening presently, we have to come together to display who is the majority in this country and absolutely what this country will look like in the future. And we come from struggle. You know, the American genocide tried to wipe out all of our communities, and they failed at doing so. The American settler colonial system failed at doing so. And here we are. And we have a shared understanding that the same type of settler colonial approaches that happened to indigenous people is the same thing that happened to our Black brothers and sisters, to our immigrant workers, to our families, to all of our people from across our nations. So it's fundamentally important that we come together and to demonstrate that we're going to be in unity with one another and that we deserve to be in community with one another, and we deserve to be at the table collectively building a path to the future.
I'll add briefly, we are the majority together, right? And I think that's important. When we decide that it is worth it to fight for and with one another, when we see each other's struggles as one, when we decide that there is no separation, there is no difference, that is when we are the majority. And when we're the majority, anything is possible. And so I am so grateful to be standing here with Black communities, Indigenous communities, migrant communities, folks from all different kinds of walks of life who are all committed to the same vision of land back and reparations, and see that as our guiding light for more freedom, more sovereignty, and more liberation for all across Turtle Island.
Good morning. I just wanted to add a little bit of context, definitely a +1 to what was shared, but the concept of Black and Indigenous solidarity is not something that's new, right? Day One movement is us recommitting to that. There's a long legacy of Black and Indigenous people not only being in solidarity with one another and supporting each other through the struggle, but also creating culture, right? And sharing food and music and dance and coming together in community and joy. So I just want to reiterate that this is a long legacy of solidarity that the Day One movement is a recommitment to, right? There's been historic suppression, systemic suppression, and we are once again affirming that we will not let that divide us. We stand together.
Thank you so much for that question. And for folks that didn't hear, that was a question on what the power of the diversity of this movement was about. So thank you so much. Are there any other questions? So the question was, as we gear up for the 250th anniversary of the United States on July 4th, 2026, what do we want folks who maybe don't have too much of an understanding of what this is, what do we want them to take away from it? I think firstly, we want folks to take an opportunity to go to the website. There's far more information that I can kind of say here. Again, that's Day One Movement, mvmt.org. And I think really what we want folks to do is to think about getting back, again, like what we said, is to the core of our communities. And the core of that commitment that is, as we mentioned, a legacy. It's a history. For as long as there has been the United States, there has been this solidarity between Black and Indigenous communities. There's been a shared understanding about what our future is. So we want folks to get back to understanding that. We do want folks to get back to understanding what it means to be community members with each other, what it means to stand in solidarity with your neighbor. Again, we want really, this is not about organizations, it's about people, and it's about our connections to each other. Are there any folks that want to add?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, just like Aaron was just saying, if you look into the history of the Maroon communities throughout the United States, which have been invisibilized in the history books and all but erased from like public consciousness, but they existed here in the United States. Maroon communities, free Black communities that fought back against enslavement and resisted, and they resisted alongside their indigenous communities. In Louisiana, we see examples of this. In South Carolina, North Carolina, we see examples of this. In Florida, we see examples of this. And so what we're asking for folks really to do is lean back into the practices that are actually culturally significant to us and already exist in the same ways that have already been named, because that is actually their biggest fear. We have an opportunity right now, July 5th, this is our next 250 years. We decide every moment past then what that looks like. We decide how we interact with one another. We decide how we care for each other. We decide how people get their needs met. And we, as a movement, are committed to a different 250 than the last 250. And so for folks at home who are wondering, what does it look like? July 5th, what do I do? Go into your community. Build those relationships. Free each other by being outside, being open, being vulnerable, being willing to learn, and finding out what sovereignty and liberation looks like for yourself and for each other. Because this is a communal process. We can only do this with all of us. We need everyone.
Thanks, and I want to add a little bit to that. So for the folks who have never heard or been involved in a movement and they're out there celebrating the 4th of July, because we know that people need celebration and joy in their life, we also know it's these same folks that are struggling with their rent, with their gas, of putting food on their table, of finding good places to send their kids. We know that these people have real struggles. We are here because we are all feeling that same pressure. The same struggles that communities in rural Tennessee are feeling and rural Georgia are feeling are being felt over here, right? So this movement is for you. If you have felt a struggle, if you have been struggling to pay your rent, to feed your community, to take care of one of each other, haven't been able to go to the doctor, our Essential Bill of Rights is demanding that dignity for you and your community. So if any of that applies, we invite you to go to the website to check it out. We are here for all of us. You know, if anyone is out there celebrating 4th of July and hears across us, this is for you. So we invite you to come, get closer, ask questions, and we are here to welcome you into this movement, into this future.
Thank you so much, Brenda. I think we have a question here. Mm-hmm. So the question is kind of, do we have plans to celebrate this July 4th? Sure. I mean, yeah, go for it.
This movement's not concerned with Trump or July 3rd or July 4th. This movement is concerned about July 5th in the next 250 years. So we're not putting any energy into the July 3rd or July 4th. We're putting all of our energy into the next 250 years because that's what the people deserve. The people deserve a path forward. So there is no plans as it relates to that here in this community. Our allies and communities across the country are launching different movements that our relatives will then speak to about the 4th of July, the lies that are told on the 4th of July. But I wanted to be really clear that this movement and what we're doing here in the Chesapa is really focused on the path forward. And we're not really concerned. We kind of find Trump a little annoying. And we know how the system works. Trump comes and goes, but we'll still be here. Lakota people been here. So him coming in here, he'll leave, and we'll still be here afterwards. Hachatu.
Are there any other questions? Yeah, so the question was kind of how do we see what the next steps look like as we move forward in this? I think I should say, as Black folks, as Indigenous folks here, we're patient. We've experienced the past 250 years. We will move with dignity and with grace forward, and we do imagine that future. It's imperative. It's not a question of if, but when. And so we'll move with grace and we'll move with dignity. And again, we'll move with thinking about the future that we want to imagine. Administrations come and go, but how we care about each other, how we live with each other, that is the thing that connects us. So again, we'll move with grace, we'll move with dignity, and we'll move with the speed that we need to make sure that we have a world that's built for all of us, like we said.
Yeah, I'd love to add, this is a cultural revolution, right? People have been moving land back work, reparations work for decades. This is work that is ongoing. People have been fighting for this. This isn't new work. And so we see ourselves as extensions of those legacies of work that already exist. And our work is to popularize this movement, to create a culture that understands that land back and reparations aren't an ask, they're a demand and a necessity, a responsibility of this country. And so when we're thinking about how these conversations go, we understand it took 250 years to build what this is, right? And so we're looking at the next 250, it's going to be a protracted struggle. And it's one that if we are committed, if we bring in our folks, if we are actually moving with folks on the ground who are moving this work, showing them the love, showing them the support, and building an American culture that is different, that is based in care and not individualism, that is based in the concept that your freedom means mine, we got it. It's possible, and it will happen. It will come to pass. It's not an option.
Would you mind repeating your question, please? I want to make sure that I answer it in a good way. Conversation. Sure. The conversations will continue to develop and evolve, right, as we continue to come together, but I want to go a little bit beyond that, if that's okay, because I want to think about how the implications of this will continue to evolve. And within the Bill of Rights, the Essential Bill of Rights, excuse me, not the old one, the new one, there's a lot in there that talks about our relationship and our responsibility to the earth and what it provides for us. And so, when I came up here the first time, I said, I'm here to honor my ancestors, right? But I'm also here to prepare for and to honor my descendants, all of our descendants, right? And that includes everyone's descendants. And so as we come back to the land, who knows the land better than the Native people who have been here since time immemorial, Black folks who have been in relationship with the land for 500 years, right? So in us coming back and recommitting to one another and coming together, it is also an affirmation that we are looking to create change that ripples through the generations for all of our descendants, so that we can take care of one another, so that we continue to take care of the land, so that we have access to good, clean foods, good, clean water, right? And we bring this system to a grinding halt, and it no longer poisons us and kills us and divides us. Thank you.
So I want to add to that in this moment, our communities are feeling this pressure. And we know that this administration is at the cusp of breaking as well, because these false narratives and all of these, I don't even want to say it, you know what they be doing, is not helping our communities. And I want to say that this is one of many convenings, and each of us here and those of us out there listening have also made many commitments to continue to build a unified movement that involves labor, that involves the queer communities, that involves environmental justice groups, that involves everyone, because we know that all of our issues are interconnected. You know, we know that we are also building a movement beyond this country. We're also building a movement beyond borders that connects with communities across the global South, across the oceans. We're also here committed for all of that.
Yeah, I think this is like at this historic moment in this country, this is an invitation. I think that people all across this country are experiencing what's happening in various different ways. It's in like the negativity, the violence, the repression is rampant throughout this country. But people, regardless, are uprising. You've seen it in Minneapolis. You've seen it in communities across the country. You've seen it in the South. You've seen it here in the Osheti-Shalkowi. People want something different, and they deserve something different. And I think that the invitation that I wanted to share is that, you know, no matter what has happened over the last 250 years to our people, we've survived it. And is it possible that the best days of our people are actually in front of us and not behind us? And if that is true to you, what action does that invoke today? And right now, for us, it's this movement. It is the day one movement that is a path forward to do that. It's an invitation for us to come together from different walks of life, to have those hard conversations. And when Indigenous lands are returned, when Black reparations happen, it's not only just good for those communities, it's good for all people in Mother Earth.
Are there any additional questions? With that being said, I want to invite everyone here, everyone online, to join us, to go to the website. It's day one, both the number and spelling, ONE, movement.org. Join us there. With that being said, we'll wrap up this press conference today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
When I say day, you say one. Day.
One.
Day.
One.
Day.
One.